It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Creativity doesn't wait. It moves, shifts, evolves, just like you. And with the Yoga PC from Lenovo, your tools finally keep up. Stunning, smart, and sustainably sourced, Yoga PCs from Lenovo are designed to amplify your creativity with AI-powered performance. Whether you're sketching, editing, animating, or composing, yoga moves with you, adapting to your creativity, to your rhythm. With beautiful displays and the flexibility to shift from laptop to tablet, yoga unlocks new ways to inspire and create. Because at Lenovo, we believe your tools should fuel your flow, not hold you back. Yoga PCs from Lenovo support you at every step of your creative journey. So check out Lenovo.com/yoga and supercharge your creativity with yoga. Lenovo. Empowering creators everywhere.
Get this, adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Tired of restless nights? At Leesa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Leesa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to Leesa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows. That's LEESA.com and use code iHeart for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Leesa just for you.
On the Gophers Sports Network from Learfield, this is Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson. Now, here's the voice of the Gophers, Mike Grimm.
We are off and running. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with head coach Ben Johnson, our usual Wednesday edition of the basketball conversation. Justin Guard along with for the first at least 75% of the show. As usual, Guards, you contributing about at a 75% effort today.
Constantly in foul trouble. Yeah. You can't keep me for the whole show. It never works that way.
Cannot do that. You've got duties tonight. Gopher women's basketball hosting Washington. You'll have the play-by-play on many of these Gopher Radio Network stations, including our flagship here in the Twin Cities. And so you have to head over to Williams Arena for some duties at about 12:45.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody's on the pins and needles on when I'm leaving the show.
Well, they're going to find out because you won't be here for the last 15 minutes.
It'll be good.
Quitting on us again, Coach. How about that? You know? He never wants to get in the middle of this.
No, why would I? don't want to, but you bring me in. That's just how it works.
That's what I do here. That's what I do for a living. Agitating. That's me.
Call you the chef. You stir it up.
I like to stir the pot when I can, especially with Guardsy. No doubt about it. It is Gopher Basketball Weekly, and as PA would say, 3, 2, 1. Here we go with the start of the show. Gophers last week at this time, Coach, we were talking about what a awesome trip to California. A couple of nice wins on the road, and unfortunately the table flipped a little bit in a 7-day stretch because you've got a couple of home setbacks to talk about in this one, including last night a loss to the Northwestern Wildcats, and we talked about it a little in the post-game show. For whatever reason, that difference of energy that you saw out west compared to maybe the energy that you saw here the last 2 home games, and I don't know if you've been able to now with another night to sleep on it, been able to put your finger on any of it.
Yeah, I think, I just keep going back to, for whatever reason, just mentally, you got to be right. if you're going to go on a winning streak, you got to be mentally right to do that. If you take a couple losses, you got to mentally regroup to get back right. And so we've got to just find that. And these last 2 games, we just kind of been lost and trying to put a finger on, is it the pressure of the moment? Is it, other circumstances outside? Is it that, a couple games I felt like we were putting too much pressure on our offense and we were living and dying with like each pass and each drive and each shot, and the result of what that was? It's so hard to play when you get stuck like that. And so we just got to be able to get back to how we were, a week and a half ago, when it was just less thinking. Things were flowing. Things were happening naturally. We were just getting caught up in how hard we're playing. We were relying on our defense, and then the offense was taking care of itself. And there was just kind of a recklessness that was controlled that we were playing with. And we just got to find our way back to that.
Are you surprised that they didn't have that coming home this time? Like maybe earlier in the season when it happened against Washington, okay, maybe you see that coming a little bit more. But given how you won those games in L.A., to come back and really kind of have that tension that you talked about, are you surprised that this late in the season that was an issue for you this week?
I think as a coach, you learn nothing surprises you, good or bad. You just hope, like when we won those 2 games, the main thing I talked about was this is great momentum if we handle it the right way. That was like a point of emphasis the minute the game was over.
Yeah, you said it with those guys.
Yeah. The minute the game was over, it was like, all right, we've got to find a way to bottle this momentum and keep it, because as a coach, I know what's coming up. These guys don't. Right? I've been through this many times as a player, as a coach. These guys have not, for the most part. And so you're trying to like almost foreshadow and protect them a little bit. Because, you worry about all that stuff. How are we going to handle success now? Not only that, but handle it in the final 2 weeks of the season, and handle it against, quote unquote, a team or teams that people from the outside are going to say, oh, well, you should win those games. You're at home, you're playing well, but you should win those games, because they look at, the standings and the records. You as a coach know, no, nothing's given. Nothing's given. The biggest thing you did in California was hopefully give you the confidence to come in and play competitive against those 2 teams. But each game is different. And so, as a coach, you hope, but sometimes you don't know how your team's necessarily going to react to different situations and different pressures.
Do you think, too, with the nature of your team, it's been a tough-minded, hard-nosed team, maybe a little bit of a chip on the shoulder? It seems that in games where they're underdogs, they were not favored in either game in California. You think about the home Michigan game, the Iowa game, that maybe you play with that edge, like, well, no one thinks we're going to win. We'll prove that we'll win. And then what you just mentioned, in some of these other games that maybe have been a little more flatline, they're supposed to win it. And now with that mentality, it can change a little bit. Instead of like, we got to go fight against a team that's supposed to beat us, now you're on that side. You're supposed to beat the other team. And do you think there's something to that in sports everywhere, but specific to your team?
Well, the biggest thing I talked about was, regardless, again, each game to me is independent.
Yeah.
And regardless of who you're playing, especially this time of year, everybody is hungry and fighting. And that's the message I tried to get across, was let's focus on that. Like, all right, flush the win, flush the loss. This next opponent, they're going to be super hungry. And then you look at the teams that, played before us. So, Penn State was coming off a good performance. They had a little bit of momentum. Like they're like when we were 0-6, they're thinking, hey, it just takes 1 to get us going.
Yeah.
Northwestern's coming off a really good road win versus Ohio State by 21. They're thinking the same thing. Hey, we just got 1. Let's go get 2. So to me, it's more of like, understanding your opponent, getting lost in that, understanding every single team in this league this time of year is going to have that desperation. And, Penn State's got a lot of returners. They've got that built-in desperation. Northwestern's got a lot of returners, pride, culture, built-in desperation. Getting them to firmly understand and believe that this is what we're up against. This is the opponent. Take the record out of it. This time of year, none of that stuff really matters.
Take us inside the make a home game or road game vibe that you talked about last night. Kind of when you came up with that, what gave you that thought or that idea that I'm going to try to mix something up here after Saturday?
I think it was just because, again, as a coach, you know your team and you're around them. I know my team, and I just started feeling it already, and it was like, you know what, I got to flip this energy, and I didn't want them to feel anything outside of just what we were in California, which is like a relaxed environment, and so I said, you know what, sometimes for some reason on home we've put some undue pressure on ourselves. Is there a way I can lighten that a little bit? All right, maybe we can flip the mind frame of everybody, and we're going to treat this maybe like a road game. Does that ease any type of anxiety or pressure that these guys might put on themselves for reasons outside, and so just tried to kind of recreate that. I wanted them to be loose, and how do you do that? And sometimes as a coach, you just try to figure stuff outside the box, maybe that just eases the moment a little bit, or maybe it sidetracks them and it gets their brain flipped to something else, or it triggers a happy moment. And we talked about that, like, okay, after both those games, the feeling that you have in that locker room, it's like a high. And it's like, that's why you play. Like, that's why you coach, because of that high. Right, to see players go out there, perform at a level higher than they expected, to do things, to celebrate, to be with their teammates, to get a huge, that's why you coach. And the high of that. And so I just wanted them to go back to get that feeling. It's like, all right, well then let's create that environment that got us that feeling. And if there's a way you could do it, does that help? We'll try anything.
And it's better when you win, right? It's a better story to go, I tried to do this,
But I just think, to the point again, not that you're all into antics and this and that, but
right.
I do think just part of your job as a coach, trying to figure out, all right, how can we either stabilize the situation, or how do you get the most out of your guys? How do you get that jolt? How do you get them in the right mind frame? Because I'm so big on that. I think that the mind frame is everything. If your team's not right, you better have a crazy amount of talent, right? Because you got to be right to be successful in this league.
One of your old bosses, Tim Miles, you saw say change the stimuli, right?
Yeah.
He'd say you got to change things up as you go, even when you're comfortable. If it's feeling good, you got to just, because they are, even though you have an older team, they are 22, 23 years old. You got to just keep mixing stuff up.
Yeah, no, you do.
And it was a little bit of a flip from Saturday, where you got off to a nice start, right? A 9-point lead. Last night was not that. You tried this, and then they hit their first 4 shots. It's 10-0 out of the gate. So what are you thinking at that point as to how do I got to, shock these guys back into it, defibrillate them a little bit here to try to, and they did. They eventually tied it at 21, but you just never could quite get the extra juice you needed.
I think there's 2 ways, really, when a team starts off like that. As a coach, there's feelings that you have, and there's things that you sense, and a team could get off to that type of start, and as a coach, you could be like, you know what, like Tim Miles, you say, it's better if you're going to get down early.
Yeah.
Right. And you just know, like, okay, great, they're making shots, but you can't sustain that. You've been on both sides. I've been on a side where we've got off to an unbelievable start, and even as a coach, you're going, this isn't good. Right. And you've been on the side where a team's just not going to be able to sustain that. Yesterday did not have that. Yesterday it was more of, I felt I didn't even care about the deficit. It was more of like how it felt. And you just could feel that, like, we were a step late. And that's why they got those shots, right? It wasn't necessarily what Northwestern was doing, but it was, okay, a defense assignment, we're there, but then we're off too far, we gapped, they get an open look. We're a step late, they get an open look. So it was more us. And then conversely, offensively, you could literally feel the tension in every pass, every shot, every miss. And that was what I was more about thinking about. How do I change that? Because we're going to eventually find our way and claw our way back into it. It was too early, and we did.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the reason we weren't able to sustain it, in my opinion, was we never got to figure out that part of it, right? It wasn't necessarily it was the part of, like, all right, let's take a deep breath. We can't, it's not life or death with every single pass, play. You can't live like that if you want to be able to stay in this game. And it just felt like the whole game, even early, that feeling. And that's not a good feeling to have, especially in the first half when there's so much game left. But like when you could feel it was life or death from the start, then you're going like, oh boy, how do we navigate this now?
And do you as a coach then have to make a determination at that point, like, what am I going to do to get them going? And I suppose there's varying options. Just my observation, it looked like I'm going to just stay calm here because I want these guys just to understand we're not, it's not a crisis yet. Or another option might be, I'm just going to rip their heads off in a timeout or something. And how do you determine which approach you want to take in a given situation? Yeah. And what made last night the decision to do what? And maybe I misread it. Maybe you did jump them. I don't know.
No, every game is different. I think again, it's coaches know their teams.
Yeah,
and they know the personality of the guys. And they know what you've been through the course of the year, what's worked, what hasn't worked. Timing is everything. If you get that wrong, you could lose the game early, right? So you've got to be really calculated. And I just in that yesterday particular moment in that game, the best thing I could have done, it was like they felt it already. And I didn't need to add to that, right? I could see it in the timeouts. I could feel it. That didn't need to add to that. It was more of me saying, we're going to be fine. We're good. And here's what we're going to do. Just, and it was managing every 4 minutes. I kept writing that down. It's just worry about these 4 minutes and that's it. All right, here's what's working. You guys like that? We're good here. All right, defensively, let's stick with this. Here's what's working. Let's just manage the 4 minutes. And again, you can't win or lose it now. I didn't want them to think, because I could already sense it was, they're thinking second half. Or in the second half, it's like with every minute that walked down, it's like guys are looking up there going, oh man, we only got 17 minutes to fix this. Only 15, only 14, only 13. And so it's your job as a coach. Now you got to manage that. You can't compound. And now, again, they'll react off my emotions, right? If all of a sudden now, I'm all over the refs, I'm losing my mind, I'm losing control, I'm acting crazy, that energy is going to be transferred. Now they're going to sense that, like, oh man, he's panicking. So now, oh God, it must be it. We are right. It must be bad. So you almost have to go the other layer, exact opposite, so that they don't feel like it's out of control, or you're panicking, or you're tight, or man, coach is wound up, or he knows we're getting screwed. Like, you can't.
And I mean, all coaches, I'm sure, if they had the answer to the question I'm about to answer, would never lose a game or what have you. But how, as a coach, is it? Because you've oftentimes on this show or in post-game shows, the UCLA game, you talked about, we never doubted. In the huddle, we knew it. I just had a sense that this was going to happen. And then last night, the sense with the same team and the same group was, it sounds like, just the total opposite. You were pretty concerned that they just weren't quite where they needed to be. As a coach, that's got to be just why you pull your hair out sometimes, I suppose.
Well, that's just it's kind of the game within the game. It's like you've got your offensive game plan, your defensive game plan, but then you got to have your mental game plan, and sometimes that's more important. So that game, you're just figuring out what are the right buttons to push to get these guys so that they're mentally, so that they're good, so that the belief doesn't waver. And you're trying to, once there's something that you can build on and there's a little success, whether it's an offensive play or defensive play, and the next time out you're trying to rally around that play, or you're trying to reference stuff that happened earlier in the year. Hey man, we've been here before. We've been down, with this amount of time, 2 games ago. Remember that. Like, you're just trying to rally the troops. And again, you got to be able to execute. You got to be able to play hard and compete, but you got to be mentally there and confident.
All right, let's take our first break. We will have more with Ben Johnson. Stay with us. We also want to remind you can visit the University of Minnesota bookstore and discover the area's largest selection of U of M and Golden Gopher apparel and novelties for fans of all ages, from the latest fashions to traditional favorites. It's the University of Minnesota bookstore, your one-stop shop. Visit online at bookstores.umn.edu. Stay with us. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you, because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Do you know how plastic bottles become shirts, shoes, or backpacks? What happens when your recyclables leave your curb? Can they really become something new? Visit WM.com to learn how WM helps turn your plastic bottles into everyday products, giving materials a second life. WM has the recycling infrastructure, innovation, and expertise to serve our Twin Cities community and care for our planet. The recycling process starts and ends with you. Visit WM.com to learn more.
The human heart. It doesn't take days off, or hours, minutes, or seconds for that matter. It just keeps beating in steadfast, unrelenting service to each of us. So when your heart needs medical care, doesn't it deserve the most advanced treatments available, delivered by nationally recognized physicians and surgeons? Show your heart some love. Take it to M Health Fairview. Visit mhealthfairview.org/heartcare to learn more.
Are you looking for concert or sports tickets? As a local Minnesota company, Ticket King is a company you can trust. They have seats to fit every budget and even offer parking or tailgating passes, and all tickets are guaranteed. Each order is personally attended to by one of our dedicated customer service representatives who are committed to providing you with a courteous, professional, quick, convenient experience. Visit us at TicketKingOnline.com or call us directly at 612-341-4131.
U of M looks good on you. Shop the largest selection of University of Minnesota clothing, accessories, and gifts at the University of Minnesota bookstores. Love to read? Check out their huge selection of books. Want competitive pricing on the latest technology, tech accessories, services, and repairs? U of M Bookstores has that too. Visit the U of M bookstores in Kauffman Memorial Union, the St. Paul Student Center, game day kiosks, or online at bookstores.umn.edu.
I'm Clay Geary, walk-on turned scholarship wide receiver for Gopher football.
And I'm Ben Utek, U of M alumni, Super Bowl champion, and Tony Dungy Uncommon Award winner. We understand championship culture, which is why we're part of the True North family of companies.
True North invests in only elite teams, like the champion team at Sunbelt Business Advisors. With more brokers, buyers, and offers, Sunbelt gets owners more than the market average.
Learn more about this True North company at sunbeltminnesota.com.
How much can you save when you shop Cub? Let's just say you might need a bigger cart. We've lowered prices so you save more. On Essential every day, it's easy to see the savings. Across the aisles, from pantry products to frozen foods to delicious dairy and more. Your family will love it, guaranteed, or your money back. Shop Cub and save today. My Cub, my way. See store for details.
The University of Minnesota teams and traditions are legendary. Our team at Strategic Wealth Designers are proud to be a partner of Minnesota Athletics. What an honor to be working together. When you're ready to discuss your financial future, call the team, the Golden Gophers Trust. We look forward to creating your winning strategy for retirement. Visit us at swdgroup.com today and go Gophers.
Playing the Minnesota Lottery is exciting, so here to tell you all about it is me. And to make it more exciting, I'll be using my movie trailer voice.
In a world where we all crave more play in our day, one woman's journey leads her to the convenience store. Coming this year, scratch games from the Minnesota Lottery. And you're going to want to play because anything can happen when you say, I'm in. Must be 18 or older to play.
No matter who you are or what you do, there's a Ford vehicle that can help you own the day. Make life on the go feel like a breeze in the new Ford Explorer. Make tough tasks look easy with the powerful performance of the new built Ford Tough F-Series truck, the best-selling trucks in America for 48 years. Or take your adventures in the great outdoors to a whole new level with our built wild family of Ford Broncos. Whether it's for work or play, there's a Ford with a great deal waiting for you at your local Northland Ford dealers. Don't wait, get behind the wheel of a new Ford today, based on calendar year total sales.
It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson. Welcome back. We're originating here from campus, as we usually do at the Gopher Basketball Facility. Mike Grimm along with Justin Gard, JG, with us for another 20, 25 minutes or so. And then he's got women's basketball duties. We're with Ben Johnson here. Gophers this weekend playing at Nebraska. That is a 1 o'clock game. We'll preview that game a little bit later in the show. Continuing to talk about the Gophers now. In terms of that last night, never quite getting over the hump, and I'm sure it felt like you just were trying to get that thing all started. One of the things that was kind of one of those, it's just one of those nights at halftime. We always interview one of your assistants. Jason Kemp says one of the big points of emphasis we told the guys at halftime is we want to prevent some of these threes because they're shooting a little above their weight in terms of what their stat was, and then mentioned a couple of other things. But the first thing he told us was 3-point shots, and they get the ball out of halftime, and 16 seconds into the half, they rise, fire, wide open three, and they hit it. And I couldn't help but say, that's not what Jason Kemp and the coaching staff wanted to see. If that was their main emphasis in 15 or 16 seconds in, it's a rise and fire three that goes in. And that set the tone. I think they started 10-2 again in the second half. So does that, I'm sure it's a frustration, but does that all go into, man, this is just one of those nights that we just can't get out of, get going here.
Yeah, couldn't get out of our own way. Obviously we did a better job the second half with, I think they were 2 of 7. But it's that momentum play, right? To start the half on something that we had talked about and emphasized and didn't want to obviously give up. Those are tough. And in those, you're trying to now the psyche, again, that's what you've clawed back. The psyche's stable, and then that happens on the coverage that we've talked about. Like, again, our guys are smart. They know. So then when something like that happens on something that we've talked about, now the psyche is like, oh, man, we messed up on something that we've emphasized, and it happened again already. Now that whole momentum piece, and then it kind of snowballed from there, like you said.
Do you feel like previous home losses have factored into, the mood last night, like the vibe last night? Like, do you feel like there's an inherent tension of, you guys know that, at home, in kind of a weird way, you've had some tough ones. Like, do you feel like those have impacted the last couple?
You wonder. I just kind of go back to sometimes when I was a player, what you went through during those experiences. And at home, it's like you want to play so well at home. Mm-hmm. You want to play well for the fans. You've got more family than obviously on the road. You feel like, man, this is home. We should play well here against anybody that we play. So you put undue necessary, pressure on yourself regardless. And then when things aren't going well, it's like you want to fix it so bad, you end up doing the opposite.
Right.
And you just, again, you overanalyze situations, and that's when you become that step slow. And so we just got to be able to also realize, we beat Michigan and Oregon here. Like it's such a slippery slope, but it's human nature. You go back to like, all right, my last experience. Well, if your last experience was Penn State or Illinois or Washington, those crawl into the back of your mind of like, we don't want this to happen again, but how do we stop it? And it was just kind of that vibe from the players. Like, we know this isn't right. We know we need to be doing X, Y, and Z. We know the score isn't right. Man, how do we stop it? And those are the answers we gotta provide for them.
It was really the first time you haven't started well, as Grimm mentioned. 10-0. Before you kind of get into things. The game Saturday, Penn State, was the opposite, right? You got a great crowd, and we talked about it on the TV show. I sensed your disappointment. You mentioned the crowd multiple times. Like, we're coming off LA, the crowd's here, they're ready, they're excited, everybody's good. You get off to the good start, and then, as you mentioned, then the shots just stop, right? I mean, it's just miss, and you could almost feel the air come out of the place, right? And that's got to be a helpless feeling too.
Yeah, it is a helpless. You can see it in real time, and it's just like, you sense it, you see it. But that was a difference, it was the energy. It's like the fans were waiting for something. And the hard part about that is that we just played just characteristically so different with just simple stuff than we had in a long time. It's like if we just play our normal game there with that crowd, I think it's a different outcome. And for whatever reason, the time when we just needed to be normal, we weren't. and it costs you a game. And those are just painful lessons. And so, again, with this crew, I don't want them to sense any of that. I don't want them to worry about the past. We only got one home game left.
Right.
And so, I just want these guys to let it rip and, if we get some momentum before that last home game. But I don't want them to, you don't ever want to walk in your home building and just put too much undue stress and pressure on you, because it's just too hard to play that way.
We haven't hit a lot of X's and O's specific, but I did want to ask you a little bit, and I don't know all of what the action is, but Saturday, a little bit last night, there's been a couple of other times, maybe early in the year, that pick and roll action for you defensively, trying to guard it, has created some easier looks for the other team. What do you think? What do you see in that, and why is that happening, and how do you try to contain that a little bit better?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously everybody's pick and roll game's different. And so, when they take away the backside and they try to manipulate your help like we all do, it makes those coverages tougher. And Northwestern runs some really good stuff. And so if you're not good on the ball with the big and with the guard, you do open the middle of the floor up, because they do a good job, like I said, of taking away the help. And so some of it was us. We were a little bit too soft on the ball. We didn't, get into the ball. We didn't make the ball handler comfortable. Players in this league are too good. If you're too on the ball, but it's soft, they can just see over the top. And then the other part is, our backside's got to be able to play both. That's part of it. When you put two on the ball, you're going to be at a disadvantage in the back. So we've got to do a better job of, making second and third efforts and holding the fort. Again, we've done it majority of the year. We got to elevate it though this time. You got to elevate it as you get to this back stretch, and we had our spots where we did and we didn't. Part of that again goes credit to Northwestern. Man, they do a good job that puts your defense in a bind, and now we've got to figure out again, making that second and third effort. Creating our own success when it comes to that.
They're all individuals, but I'm going to group them together. Just the guards last night, when you just put it together, it's, I think 5 of 23 shooting. Obviously, that's probably not going to get it done against a Big Ten team. Makes Dawson's life a lot more difficult, like it did. What did you see just from those three last night with the struggles? Because they'd obviously played a lot better, all three of them, the last couple of weeks, and that was a bit of an aberration.
Yeah, no, it was. And there were some pretty good looks out there, that we didn't make, and that's why coaches always say, you can't rely on just offense, right, every game, because it's never going to be consistent. Even the greatest shooters, if you're missing 6 of 10, you're shooting it really well, but that's 6 misses right there. So, your mind frame can't be, all right, our energy or our intensity or our ability to win a game is all depending on if we're going to make shots, because really good teams are going to have stretches where they don't make shots. And so, being able to rely on the defensive part and not just focus on being a make or miss team and winning or losing based off that, I think is so key. And I thought the Penn State game, that was kind of our biggest fault there was, we made shots early, and then we started to go back to those same shots instead of playing through our defense. And we played too much through our offense. And then all of a sudden now when those shots aren't going in, you're still playing through your offense, and you're trying to find it through your offense. That's why you lose.
All right, let's take another break. The long-awaited long contested 2 is coming up when we come back. We want to remind you each week we give away a $25 gift card to the University of Minnesota bookstore. You can visit our sign up to win page at gophersports.com. Visit gophersports.com/U of M bookstores to enter. It's Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Creativity doesn't wait. It moves, shifts, evolves, just like you. And with the Yoga PC from Lenovo, your tools finally keep up. Stunning, smart, and sustainably sourced. Yoga PCs from Lenovo are designed to amplify your creativity with AI-powered performance. Whether you're sketching, editing, animating, or composing, yoga moves with you, adapting to your creativity, to your rhythm. With beautiful displays and the flexibility to shift from laptop to tablet, yoga unlocks new ways to inspire and create. Because at Lenovo, we believe your tools should fuel your flow, not hold you back. Yoga PCs from Lenovo support you at every step of your creative journey. So check out lenovo.com/yoga and supercharge your creativity with yoga. Lenovo. Empowering creators everywhere.
During tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control. Stopping off at payroll, your accountant or tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info on your W-2, just the ticket for criminals to steal your identity. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. You need LifeLock. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. And restoration is guaranteed, or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code iHeart or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/iHeart. Greenlight.com/iHeart.
Ben Johnson, Mike Grimm, and Justin Gard with you. Gophers at Nebraska on Saturday. We will have that broadcast with you and for you from Lincoln. We'll take air at 12:30. It's a 1 o'clock tip time, and it is time now, as we always do at the bottom of the hour, JG with our long contested two.
Well, I'm keeping it a little bit to basketball in the long contested two, but I am curious. You know, you're off today according to the calendar that we can always see here. So the guys have a day off. You got 2 more days. You head to Nebraska on Friday to play the Cornhuskers on Saturday. So we've asked you a lot and talked a lot about just your approach throughout the season. So what's your approach last night? You know, how much are you talking last night with the team? What are you telling them to do today? And then as you think about how you want to move forward now here for the final couple of games and the Big Ten tournament and everything that comes with that, like, how important is tomorrow in terms of the messaging and what you want to get across?
Yeah, no, I think the messaging is always important. Anytime you talk in front of your team, I always try to have a game plan. You know, you never want to be the guy that's up there rambling. I mean, every time.
Like Grimm at the beginning of these shows.
Of every show. Every week.
He never has a plan, and we just wander aimlessly for 3 minutes and welcome you in, right? You got to have a plan.
People look forward to that, Gert.
I don't think they do, but go ahead. I know I don't, but so you'll be formulated. You'll have it ready to go.
You formulate a plan, and it's going to be a mixture, you know, but some of it is you got to be able to learn from it quickly and turn the page, but you know, we also have to get back to being right. And so there'll probably be a little bit more, emphasis, splitting it with Nebraska and then making sure that we're right and we're comfortable and confident offensively, defensively. We get back to the basics a little bit. We get back to our identity a little bit. I think that's really important.
So what does that look like to get people feeling more confident? Like what drills are you doing? Are guys doing different stuff? Like, kind of take us in how you tailor that.
Well, I think part of it is just showing them too and talking them through the season to say, you know, there's things we can reflect back on that they got to feel good about, whether it was a certain win, how we won it, to constantly remind them that it's not all doom and gloom, that not long ago, you know, we were riding high and we're the second team in our league to sweep LA. You know, we've beaten Michigan, who for most of the year was number 1 in the league. reminding them that it's not far off.
Right.
And it wasn't like we've drastically changed what we're doing here in the last month. So like the winning, there's a reason why we've won. Don't lose sight of that. I think sometimes you can lose too, and all of a sudden now it's like revamp and oh my God, where's the panic button? No, it's the urgency button, and it's more urgency to like, let's get back to who we are. So you show them, and then, on the court, it's just getting back to work. You got to get back to competing and working hard and kind of getting lost in that. And it's funny. I just think the more you work and the more you put in, the more you get rewarded. If you take shortcuts and you don't work, then you can't be surprised by the result. So it's getting back in the gym, and this week it's trying to work harder than we worked last week and finding a way and do a little bit more. And if you're going to go, into this last week, you want to go in this last week swinging.
You guys have both mentioned how different the show was last week, right? When you're coming off the LA trip on very little sleep. I'm sure your team's aware of all the outside noise, good and bad, right? So how do you manage that, a week ago, but then also, this week where I'm sure they're all hearing, wow, they had a great week in LA. They looked like, because everybody, as you know, has you at 500 in the Big Ten to wrap it up, right? They look ahead and they go, these are winnable. So how do you get them to now say, all right, it's not, it was a bad 2 games. It happens, but Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers don't care about that. Pinnacle Bank Arena, as you know, you coach there, doesn't care about that. So how do you monitor kind of what they're hearing and letting in and making sure that it doesn't kind of get in the middle of everything?
Yeah, no, it's so different with social media now because you can't monitor. I mean, now it's more of, from a coach's standpoint, you got to talk about it because somebody's talking to them about it now. There's a time and a place when you bring it up. I think you got to be calculated with that, but the way social media is now, these guys are either reading it or they're hearing it. Like, it's impossible. So I'm big on, you might as well confront it and talk about the elephant in the room. And all right, let's talk about it, but then let's give them answers, and you got to give them, faith that it's going to get done. And, as tough as these last 2 games were, everything's still in front of us. Perspective is a hell of a thing. And you're trying to paint a picture and give these guys the right positive perspective that you can take a couple lumps like we did, but still be in a pretty good position, and it gets flipped quickly. And so that's what the message is, and that's what I want to hear is, that there is a reality to this. There's a reality to everything, especially as you conclude your season. But at the same time, everything is in front of us. And we got to have that approach, and you got to have that belief. One game can turn a lot.
In terms of everything in front, I remember talking, I think, Grimmer, during the second bye week, PJ Fleck talked about how he met with a lot of players and, just wanted to kind of talk about futures, because that is a reality, right, in your business now. You don't have as many players as a football team does, but people always want an idea of, hey, are you happy here? Are you good here? I'm sure you're recruiting your guys almost every single day. Like, at this time of year, how aware are you of, kind of how guys are feeling about the future moving forward, while also trying to stay in the present here and finish out the season the way that you want to?
I think most coaches will tell you this time of year is the hardest year for especially the seniors or the guys that are done, because they're in that in-between of, all right, I'm here, I'm present, but I'm worried about next year for me. I'm worried about what the spring looks like. I'm worried about what the summer, as they start seeing their college career end, their new reality is quickly approaching. And so it is in the back of their mind of like, all right, I know coach is saying we only got 2 weeks, but I only got 2 weeks here, and then I got to figure my life out. So they're starting to process all that, and they're starting to think, well, am I going to be getting workouts? Am I going to be able to be on the summer league team? Am I getting drafted? Do I have an agent? Is he the right agent for me? Where am I going to work out at?
Right.
All that stuff. So you're trying to weigh that and say, hey, I get it, but like right now, let's focus on finishing this thing right. Then we can circle back and we'll make sure you're good, and that's kind of been the message, because that is the reality, is that for seniors, this is a tough time to juggle. And you got a lot of stuff that they're thinking about and stuff that's on their plate and a lot of just unknowns. But it doesn't help if that consumes you, and then also trying to win games consumes you, because you're going to be all over the place. And you're not going to be as good as you can be.
When you guys beat UCLA, Mick Cronin in his post game commented that one of the things that the Gophers had going for them is that they had guys who knew that their time was up and that they would be motivated to keep winning, because if you keep winning, your career as a college player extends. Do you think that the case with this group too? That focus is there?
Yeah, no, I think these guys definitely want to win. I mean, that's something they've always talked about, and that is one of the pressures you worry about. Like they came here their last year to play at this level and to try to make the NCAA tournament. We got a bunch of guys who haven't been there. So that is part of the outside noise, the outside pressure I know that they've felt the last 2 weeks. And that's real. And they've not by any means given up. They know that everything is still in front of us. And that's still a goal and it's realistic. So now we know the goal. Let's embrace it. We'll talk about it, but let's go compete without the pressure of that, right? That's the byproduct of if you play well. It's not, you can't worry about that unless you play well. So let's worry about just playing well. If you play well, then that's an opportunity that could present itself.
All right, very good. JG, you have to go. You've got Gopher women's basketball duties this afternoon, and then tonight tip-off at Williams Arena is
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. Very well. Gophers.
Speaking of pressure, you win tonight, you're probably in March Madness.
Yeah.
I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of pressure, right, they're in a good spot either way. But tonight,
put the pressure on them. No
against a red-hot Washington.
Yeah, they haven't played for a while, so you have that going for you.
That's right.
That's right. All right, well, we'll take a break, JG. Good to see you as always. Ben Johnson will stay with us. We got one more segment. This is Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Midland Hills Country Club is well known as one of the finest golf clubs in the Twin Cities. The club has totally renovated its classic Seth Rayner design course back to its original design. Enjoy a meticulously maintained course and experience what Midland Hills Country Club has to offer. Midland Hills is conveniently located in Roseville, just 10 minutes from either downtown. A limited number of memberships are available. The club offers a great golfing experience and a comfortable social atmosphere. Visit midlandhillscc.org.
You depend on CenterPoint Energy to deliver energy for what matters most to you, your neighbors, and throughout the land of 10,000 lakes, so we can all make a better tomorrow. That's why we're investing in the latest technology to reduce emissions, offer rebates on qualifying energy-efficient natural gas equipment, and provide energy-saving programs that help save you money. Look ahead at centerpointenergy.com/futuremn.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. See Home Club for details.
Creativity doesn't wait. It moves, shifts, evolves, just like you. And with the Yoga PC from Lenovo, your tools finally keep up. Stunning, smart, and sustainably sourced, Yoga PCs from Lenovo are designed to amplify your creativity with AI-powered performance. Whether you're sketching, editing, animating, or composing, yoga moves with you, adapting to your creativity, to your rhythm. With beautiful displays and the flexibility to shift from laptop to tablet, yoga unlocks new ways to inspire and create. Because at Lenovo, we believe your tools should fuel your flow, not hold you back. Yoga PCs from Lenovo support you at every step of your creative journey. So check out lenovo.com/yoga and supercharge your creativity with yoga. Lenovo. Empowering creators everywhere.
Hey, everybody. So when you get asked, what is Odoo, what comes to mind? Well, I'll tell you, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a suite of business management software that some people say is like fertilizer because of the way it promotes growth. But, some people also say that Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable.
Ooh.
But then again, you could look at Odoo in terms of how its individual software programs are a lot like building blocks. Whatever your business needs, manufacturing, accounting, HR programs, you can build a custom software suite that's perfect for your company. So what is Odoo? Well, Odoo is a bit of everything. Odoo is a fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. Yeah, that's it.
Which means that Odoo is exactly what every business needs. Learn more and sign up now at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Tired of restless nights? At Leesa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Leesa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to Leesa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows. That's LEESA.com and use code IHEART for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Leesa just for you.
And communications for helping set everything up. It is Nebraska this weekend. It's a 1:00 game on Saturday. Another good old-fashioned Saturday afternoon basketball game. This one, though, on the road. We'll take air at 12:30 from Lincoln. You, of course, spent a season as an assistant coach there when Tim Miles was there. And that was that the first season of the new arena?
Yeah. Well, no. It was the first season of our new big practice complex, the first season in the Big Ten. The last season in the arena, because we ended up, I believe, if I'm right, our last game was against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And we won.
Yeah, that's right. That was the old Devaney Center.
It was the Devaney Center.
Yeah.
We closed the Devaney Center, and that's when they had, Andre Austin. Obviously, Tubby was the coach. And it was a big win.
So you were not a coach there because that was
just there one year.
You came up here, and then Pinnacle.
And then Pinnacle opened up that next year.
But that said, I was more of the along the lines of those questions. You're familiar now with that landscape, and that building has been a tough place for teams to go in and win. What do you think has made it such an and their splits are pretty stark. They have not been very good on the road over the years, and they've been very good at home with that home court edge.
Well, thankfully, I mean this year it's been a little bit more favorable to the visiting teams.
Yeah, they had a 22-game home winning streak snapped, and I think they lost 2 in a row after that.
So, thankfully, there's not that momentum you're going up against. But no, they are really traditionally really good at home. I mean, really good at home. And I think when I was there working for Tim Miles, he wanted the arena to be like his personality. Like he wanted, in his words, to be a circus. And that's kind of what it is. I mean, you walk in there and they've had games where the fans don't sit. They've got the streamers, they got the dance team, they got the cheerleaders, they got the student section that's throwing stuff, banging stuff, yelling. I mean, their fans are engaged.
And they're right behind you guys, right?
Behind, yeah. And, and they sell it out. And that's the one thing about Nebraska is the support they have for you, whether it's baseball, volleyball, wrestling, football, basketball, men's, women's, they go all out. And so, part of going there and being good is you have to battle the elements there, and you got to battle that fan base, and you hope at the end of the year that guys have played in enough venues where that doesn't impact them as much, and we've got to play well enough we take the crowd out of it.
Everyone is doing this, so I'm not suggesting that anybody's out to get anybody, but you're at this point now with this 18-game schedule. There's 3 games left. You haven't played Nebraska yet. With normal years forever in the Big Ten, this would have been likely, almost certainly, your second matchup with them, and you'd have a scouting report, and you would have a basis of which to follow. Now, you have a lot of film, certainly, to watch, but how strange and different has that been? Yesterday, in talking to somebody, I compared it almost to so you're 20 games, whatever it is, 27 games into the season. It's almost like you are an NBA team, right? You've played a couple teams twice, but everybody else kind of once. And I would think that for everybody, all programs, not just the Gophers, that has maybe put some stress on your scouting team, not the players. I'm talking about the coaching staff that scouts, because it's a new scout every game now. It's not like, hey, let's go back. We just played them 15 days ago and we know what to expect.
Yeah, there's a lot of one-offs. And, to me, the downside of that is just more with the players. You're teaching it new. There's not hey, we can go back to, we played them a month ago, and there's, familiarity with it. So that makes it a little bit more challenging. But that's that's what you ain't changing it. You know, that part is what it is. So
we're here now. The toothpaste is out.
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
What do you see when and I know you just played Northwestern last night, and maybe people don't fully understand this. You've had a coach or maybe a couple of guys and analysts that are part of the staff that have been looking at Nebraska even before that. You've got a group that was assigned to the game last night. So you've got an advanced team, I guess I'd call it, and I'm sure they've now briefed you and you've watched some film. So what do you see from them?
Yeah, no, they're different from the beginning of the year. I think now, just offensively, they didn't make shots last game, but they're very capable, especially at home, of getting into a rhythm from three. They've got some transfers in there that really stretch the floor. I think defensively, they've always kind of been that untraditional defense that we've had in our league, which they're going to post double every single time. Does not matter who gets the ball. They're going to really, really, really do a great job of just in their half court trying to just bully and muscle and make it kind of a street fight, a toughness type thing. They're aggressive. You go to the dribble, you better have a game plan because they're aggressive to go after and take your ball. They really force baseline. I mean, crazy. So it's like Penn State a little bit where you got to get into a rhythm defensively because it's very much a scheme and you got to understand the rotations and what they're looking for. And that will be the challenge. Will be, to be confident, to be strong, but just to get how quickly can we get into a rhythm versus kind of an unconventional defense, and be able to provide offense early.
Bryce Williams is kind of their go-to guy. Obviously, you've got Dawson. Martinelli was the guy for Northwestern last night. It's interesting that I think I looked last night. The top 5 scorers in the Big Ten are all between like 19.1 and I think 19.8 points. So Bryce Williams now, I think, although with Martinelli last night maybe not, but I think Bryce Williams now has maybe the second leading scorer or first, depending if you go conference only or whatever. But he's a guy you got to keep an eye on. What do you see in his game?
Smooth. They put the ball in his hands a little bit more off the pick and roll than last year. But he's smooth. He can score from all 3 levels. He's got good height to him. He's just got his ability that he can always get his shot off. He's one of those guys that can always find a way to create a shot opportunity and get that shot off. And he's got really good touch. So we got to hone in on him. He's got to be able to put it on the floor and make physical plays at the rim, I think, if anything. But we got to do a really good job defending him and, again, making things uncomfortable, making him play in a crowd, forcing the miss, because we're contesting really hard, probably get multiple bodies at him so we don't wear just one guy down in particular. But, he's definitely a big piece of what they do offensively.
Well, it's a good challenge, certainly, for the Gophers. Gophers have been up to the challenge when they've been on the road, so let's go get him on Saturday.
Sounds good.
All right, there he is, the head coach of the Golden Gophers. Our thanks to him. He's Ben Johnson. Also, our thanks to Justin Gard and everybody else involved in the show. We'll chat again. 12:30 is our pregame show Saturday afternoon. We'll take air at 1 o'clock from Lincoln, Nebraska. This has been Gopher Basketball Weekly with Ben Johnson from Learfield.
Creativity doesn't wait. It moves, shifts, evolves, just like you. And with the Yoga PC from Lenovo, your tools finally keep up. Stunning, smart, and sustainably sourced, Yoga PCs from Lenovo are designed to amplify your creativity with AI-powered performance. Whether you're sketching, editing, animating, or composing, yoga moves with you, adapting to your creativity, to your rhythm. With beautiful displays and the flexibility to shift from laptop to tablet, yoga unlocks new ways to inspire and create. Because at Lenovo, we believe your tools should fuel your flow, not hold you back. Yoga PCs from Lenovo support you at every step of your creative journey. So check out Lenovo.com/yoga and supercharge your creativity with yoga. Lenovo. Empowering creators everywhere.
During tax season, your sensitive info does a lot of traveling to places you can't control. Stopping off at payroll, your accountant or tax preparer, and countless other data centers on its way to the IRS. Any of them can expose you to identity theft because they all have the info on your W-2, just the ticket for criminals to steal your identity. No wonder the IRS reported tax fraud due to identity theft went up 20% last year. You need LifeLock. They monitor millions of data points per second and alert you to threats you could miss. If your identity is stolen, LifeLock's U.S.-based restoration specialists will fix it, backed by the $1 Million Protection Package. And restoration is guaranteed, or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Get LifeLock protection for tax season and beyond. Join now and save up to 40% your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock and use promo code iHeart or go to lifelock.com/iHeart for 40% off. Terms apply.
You know, some people say that Odoo business management software is like fertilizer, the way it promotes growth and all. But other people say Odoo is like a magic beanstalk because it grows with your company and is also magically affordable. And there's some people who would even say Odoo's individual software programs come together to build the perfect suite like building blocks. Well, Odoo is all of these things. Fertilizer, magic beanstalk, building blocks for business. So sign up now at odoo.com, ODOO.com.
Tired of restless nights? At Leesa, they know good sleep is essential for mental, physical, and emotional health. From memory foam mattresses to hybrids that keep you cool all night long, Leesa's mattresses offer exceptional comfort and support with free delivery and 100 nights to try out your mattress in the comfort of your home. Go to leesa.com today and get 20% off all mattresses and 2 free pillows. That's LEESA.com and use code iHeart for an extra $50 off your purchase. Remember, no matter who you are, there's a Leesa just for you.